Ladies and gentlemen, we are gathered here today to discuss the difference between an emo and a goth. There's this one chick, in my little online community where I hang out, we all get along. Everybody gets along. She is the only person who has not grasped this, okay? And she has the audacity to constantly call me an emo because I complain about things. Right now, just for starters here, here's the basic difference. All right. Um, an emo whines about shit and feels helpless and plays the victim all the time. That's what an emo is. All right. Little kids, little people who just never grew up. Some of us have experienced some very traumatic events, and some of us have been fucked over more times than we can count in this life. And some of us have fallen into vices that have destroyed our lives. All right. Now, and when I say us, I'm not referring to, I'm not talking about emos, I'm just talking about people in general. How you choose to deal with things that happen in your life, um, that's up to you. If you want to whine and complain about shit, say, oh, I'm the victim all the time, uh, yeah, you'd probably fall under the category of emo if you're into sort of a darker uh, musical and artistic culture. Uh, Goths, I'm a goth. I'm not an emo, I'm a goth. Um, and hardly even that, because I have a very strong sense of humor. I like to joke around a lot. You know, there's that whole stereotype about goths sitting around in a graveyard smoking clove cigarettes. Do what you will. Um, I don't fit in completely with like the whole goth scene and stuff. I don't have tattoos, I don't have piercings, I don't wear makeup, I don't, but we're all people. And I don't know, just for somebody to have the audacity to call me an emo, it's kind of ridiculous. Because, like, what am I doing right now? I'm complaining, right? Do you see tears? Am I crying? No, I'm addressing an issue that's kind of pissing me off a little bit. It's not that big of a deal because she's like a misnomer. Nobody even gives a fuck. Um, but a nice piece of ass shows up, it's hard for me to get a word in edgewise with any of my friends because they're all chasing her around. I'll blame them for that, but uh, it's just funny, like the one person who just doesn't get it, and she constantly calls me an emo to other people, and I just I did that whole video on the E word. Uh, I don't identify as an emo. I'm not an emo. I laugh at things. I sigh at things. I breathe. Usually cigarette smoke, but I I just breathe because I've had enough of just about everything. Politics, fucking uh, gender identity, all these things going on. You had the Australian bushfires, which really pissed me off. I love koalas. I I've been kind of starting to like wildlife a lot more in general, but there's just so much going on in this world, racism and shit, and that's what I do now. I'm so tired of it all. I'm 30 years old. I live with my parents. That's fucking depressing. That's depressing for them, and that's depressing for me. Uh, and it's embarrassing for me too. But it's embarrassing for them as well. But what do you do? What are you gonna do? You're gonna throw a tantrum? Is that gonna help anything? No. If you want to draw attention to yourself, I guess. But then to what end? What do you want out of it? That's what I don't understand about emos. I mean, if you're a goth, it's very understandable. That kind of mindset. You, you just sigh. You just shrug your shoulders. You just fucking keep going. Or don't. I don't know, or kill yourself, whatever. Whatever floats your boat. There comes a time when, like, you can't just be crying about shit anymore. You gotta just, like, you just gotta say, alright, that happened. And just keep moving on. I could be in a restaurant where, like, two parties are fucking screaming at each other and it's annoying as fuck, and I'll just sit there and be like, maybe try to get a word in, break it up, but it's only if I'm feeling like I can make a difference or something. I think it's important to understand the difference because people, it's not like the two kind of cultures, I guess, intermix. I mean, they do. Um, I'll go to an industrial show. I'll see some emo kids or something. They'll be hanging around. I not that I'm not like, what the fuck are you doing here? Can you please leave? But because you don't belong here. And then, from goth music, then you go to industrial, and that's even more so. Just emotions completely flattened out. Uh, People just don't give a fuck. It's art. They go there to experience an art movement. That's what it is. You don't go there so you can fucking bawl your eyes out. You know, oh, everybody's mean to me, and so I came here to feel liberated. Well, good for you, I guess. Just know who you're hanging around, because they probably don't care. Um, and some do. Some people are very compassionate. They want to help people out if they can. I try to do that if I can, but there are certain people that I just cannot deal with. They piss me off. I have a friend who um, he identifies as like emo as far as like his interests in music and art, literature, but I don't have a problem with him because he's very mature about it. He he actually sees it as something with some substance instead of he finds it as a way to identify himself instead of it just being like some fad or something. In the industrial scene lately, we faced the same thing with Antifa because Antifa is a fad. It's not an organic movement. It's not anti-fascism by any means. It's a bunch of rich white college kids getting paid by a very very wealthy Jewish man uh, to incite riots. Um, that's fundamentally incorrect in the scope of like how to be revolutionary. It's got to be organic. It's all the same shit. People latching on to fads and stuff because that's what's popular. Oh, look at me! I have a fucking gauge, and I'm wearing skinny jeans and I look really sad. So I fit in here, right? You can try. Um, Maybe you'll be successful, but the further down like the industrial hole you go, starting with you know goth music, like traditional goth music, you start getting into industrial, and you're going down that hole, right? That rabbit hole that never ends. Believe me, it never ends. Um, you start to mature more, like exponentially every day, um, with everything that you listen to, all the music that you listen to, all the messages in that music, the literature, um, the artwork. really start to understand what a revolution really is about. Um, and it's not necessarily violence. Um, that's what these like Antifa fucks don't understand is that they're just they're just throwing a tantrum. They're not causing any. I mean, I'm sorry, they are causing problems. They're not fixing any problems, um, and they're really just pissing people off. And like, if you look at like the women's movement, okay, some of them are pretty ridiculous. That's my take on it. That's just my opinion. I'm all for women having equal rights. I'm all for women being empowered. I just think some people are going batshit crazy over it. You know, mature, intelligent conversations are what solve problems. And you have to know what you're talking about. You have to know your facts. And I'm going off into this is what happens. I'm going off into politics now because it's like it's so easy to analyze that shit nowadays because there's so much going on and there's so many little avenues to go down. My friend did a video last night, a live stream, and I was gonna watch it, but I was like, I don't know. I got my head's gonna be in a certain place at a certain time, and I also don't know when I'm like crashing a party or something, or if I don't want to bother people outside of where I know them from. Um, but that's probably why some of this is coming up because that's been on my mind. I was interested in watching it. I might watch it later. Um, but when I saw that, I was like, oh, I kind of want to get into that conversation, but she and I have varying views about things as well, so I didn't want to like ruffle any feathers or like throw my opinions out there on her shit and cause like a divide between us um, or anything like that. But that might be why like I'm starting to drift off into politics. I mean everything's politics really. When I applied at UPS, the woman was like, "Why UPS?" I was like, "Well, there's less politics here." You know, that was bullshit. I was just trying to get the job. Um, and she was like, "Hun, there's politics everywhere." I go, "I know," but she was right. That's true. It's politics. Everything's political now. Everybody's biased some way. Um, in my case, as far as like the music I listen to, the art that I like, the literature that I like, I don't like going to an industrial show and seeing like emo kids there. I just don't. And when I say kids, I like some of these people are like older than me, and they're dressing like they're fucking 20 years old. Uh, it's like, I mean, I dress like shit. Some guy told me I looked like I was 18 the other day, and I was like, oh well, I don't know any 18-year-olds with a beard this big, but okay, I guess I'll take it as a compliment. I look young. And another guy walked into uh walked into a gas station one night before work. I had to grab some gas, get a 5 hour energy, yeah, a water, all this stuff I need for work. And I swear to God, I had never seen this guy in my life. Never. I go into that store all the time. I've never seen this guy in my life. And I was wearing like these like beat up cowboy boots from Spain. Um, basically this, like just a band T-shirt, some black pants, and I was wearing my fingerless gloves that I usually wear, and my rings, and my grandfather's dog tags. And I walk in, I grab my stuff. He goes, "Hey, you're dressed pretty emo this time, huh?" And I was like, I just took a minute. I was in my Zen garden. I was like, "Don't punch him out. Don't hop over the counter." Because I really hate when people say things like that about me. I really do. I'd rather say I look like trash. I mean, I'm trying to get the homeless Vietnam vet look down pat, if you haven't noticed. No, but seriously, uh, he said that. Now, my first thought was like, I don't even know who you are. You're not somebody that I normally see working here. And in fact, I've never seen you in my life. He shot it off like he had seen me a few times before, and he's like, "Oh, you dressed really emo this time, huh?" And that just, I don't know. You gotta go to the Zen garden. You gotta go to the Zen garden in your head. Just, just rake that sand. Don't let it bother you. But yeah, that really did piss. I got back in my car. I was like, "What the fuck was that?" I don't know. It's not my place to say what anybody does. Who you are, what you identify as. I don't care. I try to get along with as many people as I can. I just think, oh God, get the fuck out of here. I just think it's ridiculous. This chick would, and her being like the one on the outs, like she would constantly say these things about me, and in fact, she's the one who comes in. She comes onto the server, and she's just like, ah, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna make for dinner? Oh my God, and these are like close to quotes. Oh my God, I really need dick. Like, yes, we're all struggling a little bit. I mean, it's one thing to vent. Like some guy told me like somebody in his family was really sick. Like, so we were all kind of talking to him. We're like, yeah, man, let it out. Like, yeah, I hope they're doing all right. I hope they're gonna be all right. And we support each other that way. But like, she comes in and like she's sort of just like, it's like unappreciative of anything that anybody has to say to kind of try to help her through whatever is bothering her. Plus, the statements that she makes are just absolutely like, I need dick, really. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'd like to slide into a vagina right now, but hey, it's not happening right now. I don't know if it'll ever happen again. Uh, it's just kind of ridiculous. Like these are not necessities. if you if you're like homeless or something, it's like another chick asked me if because we were good friends for a while. She asked me to borrow like $300 for like a checkup, and it's like I live with my parents. I gotta save every penny I have so I can get out of here. I'm gonna give you $300 for a checkup. If you were bleeding, or like if you were dying or you had cancer or something, yeah, of course I'd do it in a heartbeat. Love you to death. But for a checkup, just cancel a checkup. The fuck is that? Like, do yourself a favor. You don't have to go out. You don't have to go have a stupid checkup when you know you're probably fine. I don't know. I'm not angry about that or anything. It's just kind of funny to me. Like there's all these other guys on there that have like I don't know shitloads of money. Ask them. They're your friends too. I'm going off on too many tangents here. But just the emo thing is ridiculous to me. Like I said, my friend um, who does identify as like kind of an emo person. Um, to me, maybe he's misconstruing what the. He's an emotional person. Certainly, we all are. We all have our emotion. Um, I don't know if it's the music that he listens to. Maybe that would make sense. And I respect him. He's more mature than he knows, in my opinion. Because he doesn't take shit from anybody, and he doesn't cry over it. He does what I do. He just complains. Like he confronts people about their bullshit. And when you do that, I mean, that's what goths do. Either they confront people about their bullshit in like a very relaxed way, very sort of apathetic way, but just kind of pointing out, hey, you're a piece of shit, you know that. Um, but it's mostly a whatever vibe, like just okay, or yeah, all right, be a piece of shit, that's fine. Emos are the ones who like they they like actually whine about shit. They cry about it. They make a huge fucking display of like some tiny little thing. It doesn't even matter. And everything is a problem. Everywhere there's bombs going off. I hate it. I really do. It disgusts me, to be honest. My one friend that I was talking about, he doesn't realize it, but he's not like that. And people would say the same things about him that this chick is saying about me. Like, just because anytime anybody confronts a problem, oh, all of a sudden they're crying about it. No, they're not. They're having mature, intelligent conversations. They're confronting you about your bullshit. It's really an out. It's like people come up with anything they can, any ammunition they can to like just be like, no, well, you're wrong. Oh, we wouldn't be confronting you if you weren't wrong. A few tidbits on some thoughts I've been having past hour. Enjoy.